Welcome back to the 52 Weeks to Wealth. My name is Walter Morello, and we've been traveling through the 52 weeks. Over the last 40 weeks, we've been going through a bunch of different wealth principles. This week's wealth principle is Wealth Principle 40, Keystone Habits. Now, Keystone Habits, when we talk about them, let me tell you a story. Everybody has had a moment in their life where they recognized that life wasn't going the way they wanted it to go. And it was not because something had changed in their life. It was because they had done something very particular over time. And one of those basic things that you can do wrong in life, not you maybe, but other people outside of this community, we'll put it on them, is not smiling to people when you meet them. Basic introduction of a smile. Some people missed it early on. Some people missed how to handshake. We actually talked about that at the summit. We were discussing the differences between handshakes, the different angles, the different tensions, what their purposes are, and how to introduce yourself to the right people. When you lack that skill, you can find that people are difficult to influence. When you don't know how to listen to others, you can find that it's difficult to get them to listen to you. Hence the camera. If you've ever had a hard time getting somebody to do what you asked, or think the way you want them to think, or do something you want them to do, excellent. Now, one of the reasons for lacking these skills is not because we didn't always want people to do what we wanted them to do. One of the reasons for not having enough money is not because we don't want more money. It can generally be traced back to our habits. And what we're going to talk about today are the keystone habits. There are many keystone habits for every different skill set, every different desire or dream that you have in your life. In fact, what we're going to go through today are if there were keystone habits to the keystone habits. Hands to the camera if that sounds like an interesting topic for business owners, for entrepreneurs. Absolutely. This has been a life-changing process for me, and I want it to be something that we talk about often. I don't want this just to be one principle that we talk about one time a year. You should be, and I use the word should very carefully in this community. I'm going to suggest that you use this keystone habit research anytime you take on a new goal, anytime there's something that you want. And a perfect example of this would be Mike Shine recently was talking to me about his Tesla shares and his goal. And so I took on the same goal. And it was because I recognized that there's no way he couldn't reach it over 10 years with the power of the habit itself. Now, his goal is 10,000 shares of Tesla. At first glance, you're like, whoa, that seems impossible. But after over 10 years, it is possible the stock would split, and it's possible the stock could split multiple times. So if early on he acquires enough, and what he said to me was just buy a stock a week, Walter. Just start with the keystone habit of buy a stock a week. And for me, that is totally feasible. For some of you, you may look at that and say, that's difficult, impossible. But if you start with the keystone habit of buy maybe a quarter of a stock a week, hands the camera if that makes sense. You're grasping that it gets the habit going, gets the momentum. And keystone habits eventually lead to reaching massive goals. Now, I genuinely believe that Mike could do this faster because he's got the mindset. He wants it so bad. Like over time, these keystone habits, as you get closer, you're going to learn more about them. Hence the camera, if that makes sense. You understand that over time, we learn a little bit more about what we're actually doing. Excellent. So the wealth principles are designed for your success to double your income. They're designed to help you become a millionaire faster. They're designed for net worth, acquiring and instilling net worth, and acquiring passive income. So if you're not interested in making more money, I'm going to strongly suggest jump off the call now. It doesn't make sense for people who want to stay broke, who are perfectly fine being complacent. This is for hustlers. This is for grinders. This is for the people who want more. This is for dreamers. This is for people who aspire, who want to become something. And as you know, I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. So this is also for you people who are looking to inspire others. Hands to the camera if you're looking to be one of those. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. Glad to be in the room with you. So the first keystone habit is, it really goes back to knowledge, right? The first one is really about identifying this, and there's different layers of knowledge, different layers of what we're going to do here. But the first is identify what you want, right? It's kind of, you got to know more, right? First one's know more, or know the values. But as we're doing it, it's like, who noticed at the summit? Who was at the 100 Millionaire Summit with us? Hence the camera, if you're at the 100 Millionaire Summit. All right. Who noticed day one? We were like, goals, right? Day one was all goals. Like, let's get clarity. Let's get commitment. There's a lot of this esoteric kind of little research into you. And then once we have that, then we can move forward with what the other Keystone principles are. And you're going to notice that the Keystone principles really do follow a lot of what we did at the summit. Who thinks that's cool? We spent 3 days, 3 different topics, Keystone topics to move people forward to become millionaires. So Keystone principle number 1 is you've got to get the right knowledge. First is the goal, but you don't spend all your time on the goal. That's like, okay, once you identify, you make sure it's healthy for you, make sure it's healthy for the people around you, make sure it doesn't interfere with any other aspect of any other person's life, so it benefits everybody who would be involved. Awesome. That's a good goal. That's something worth going after. Then you want to get the information to attain that goal. Start asking the right people, right? Start getting the right research going, books, mentors, or local people in your market. So real estate investors, hands to the camera. I want to make sure that I'm targeting this to the right people. Where my real estate investors at? Ladies and men who are looking to buy real estate, looking to own real estate, looking to be landlords, landladies. Where you at? Hell yeah. Awesome. My people. So this principle, I'm going to gear it towards real estate investors. Is that okay? This week's wealth principle? All right, cool. I like the permission. So this is where you learn how to evaluate deals. This is where you learn how to evaluate your market. Keystone principle 1 is know your market, know what's going on, get the knowledge so that you can logically, like confidently make decisions. So you've got to know your market. And you do this through going into open houses. You do this by getting on Zillow. You do it from talking to realtors. Get the information. You're in information mode, information overload, but watch out because every habit has a dark side to it, right? Terry talks about habits all the time, how they could be complacency. So we'll call this Keystone routines, right? But every habit has a dark side. And the dark side of habit number 1 is analysis paralysis, right? You can be researching so much that you actually scare yourself, that you actually knock yourself out of the game. So as you're doing your research, you have to set a timeline on when you're going to have all the research done. For Ron and I, when we get into a new market, we set ourselves a week. Sometimes it's 3 days. 3 days to a week to get all the research done. So we go in and we look at as much property, as much information, as much data as we possibly can before we go and move forward. Now, if you're new to real estate investing, you may have to do some more research. There's a great book called The ABCs of Real Estate Investing by, I just had his name, Ken McElroy. So Ken is with Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he wrote an amazing book for evaluating deals, for figuring it out. Hands to the camera if you've already read the book. If you've already read the ABCs of Real Estate Investing, awesome. And if you're looking to get more information on how to evaluate deals and you want a great calculator, Mitch Jorsky has set up a calculator right on his website called Scaredy Cat Guide. So you go to Scaredy Cat Guide Real Estate Calculator, and who's already been there? Who's already checked it out? Put in their deals? Hell yeah. Smart. This is one smart community. So go to the real estate calculator and run a bunch of deals. Just go on MLS. You ask where to find the deals, go on MLS and do those deals. It is paramount for your education, but set a timeline, right? If you want to evaluate maybe 20, 30 deals, that's probably all you need in your community or your city, then bang. As soon as that's done, you're on to the next. And don't take a month to do this. You can get this done in 3 to 4 days, a week at max. And then the next step for any success, but we're going to focus on real estate. And this is for entrepreneurs who are in the room. Who is an entrepreneur in the room who's not in real estate? Hands to the camera if you're an entrepreneur who's not buying right now, who's not investing. Okay. We got a few. I know on Facebook, there's a ton of them. So I'll also say, if you're not doing real estate, the principles still work, right? It's the same exact thing as everything else in life. I'm just going to be very focused on real estate because that's my people. That's my tribe. Take action, right? Step 2 is take action. For real estate investors, it's seek out properties, right? Get in touch with the realtors, get in touch with the wholesalers, get in touch with the actual sellers, do the mailers, do the door knocking, do the phone calls, build the list, get the text going. Get out, go take action. Once you know how to evaluate a deal, once you know what your desire is, you know how to identify whether it is a deal or not, you got to go. It's go time. Get in front of as many people who have the asset as you possibly can. Hands to the camera if you recognize this keystone habit is called action, right? It works in all aspects of life. Who's ever been single before? Ever been single? Yes, awesome. Who's still single? Still got that? The affliction? Well, who's solved it in the past? Who has in the past solved that? Not been single at one time. Excellent. Okay. How'd you solve it, right? You went out. You did not stay home, right? Finding the person to spend the rest of your life with or the next 3 weeks with doesn't happen at the house. You got to go take action. Some of you had to go take action, swiping left and swiping right. But the idea is that action was taken. You identified the person you were looking for, and then you were like, nope, 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 nope. Yes, nope, nope, nope. Some of you are like, yep, 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 yep. Anybody know that person? Yeah, when I was single, I had 2 phones. I was on like Tinder and Bumble. I'm like, both phones, right. Anybody will do. Let's just get it going. But if I'd focused on step 1, right, and I treated it with respect, I would have been with Darina 4 years ago. Does that make sense? If I'd really gotten clear about what I wanted 4 years ago, I wouldn't have wasted so much time. And that's why these are keystone habits to your success. So find properties, take action, get out. And the next one is the right people. Once you have a deal, once you know it's a good deal, now you got to connect with the people who have that deal, whether it's the seller themselves, the real estate agent, or the wholesaler. Once you have, like, step 3, the keystone habit to everything in life is begin the negotiations. Connect with the right people. So step 1, right? Keystone habits are you identify what you want and you get the information around what it would look like, really clear picture around what it would look like. Get your vision tight. Step 2 is you start seeking it out. You start doing the actions to receive it, to go out and bring this to you. And step 3 is once you have identified it in real life, because you visualized it, now you've identified it in real life, you take it, you put the offer in. And as a real estate investor, it may require having some money. It may require, like we were talking with Kevin earlier, it may require negotiating, seller financing, or a different form of, let's say, non-conventional financing, like private money. And then you take down the deal, right? You go through the process of negotiating and taking it down. So step 3 is a further level of action. It is a further level of commitment. The seeking versus the taking. There's hunting versus the killing. There's showing up and negotiating versus the close. Is this making sense? In life and in real estate investing, it is the people who have learned these keystone habits who do the most deals, who do the best deals, who are the happiest. Hands to the camera if you know this is something you could implement this week. This is a lesson that you could use in your life this week. What really impresses me about this community is that everybody on here has at some point gone out and put in offers. Everybody who's got their cameras turned on right now are people who've been in the community for some time. Some of you are new, and let's give our new members a round of applause, by the way. People who we met at the summit, people who joined our Alchemist Mastery program. Awesome. It's very good to see you. And many of you are from the mentorship. You came through a year ago, you came in 6 months ago, you came in over a year ago, and you've been successful because you've taken action. And what we did in the mentorship was gave you that kind of guidance, that visualization, that knowing where to go, and connected you in a lot of cases with the right people. Hands to the camera if we connected you with the right people to do the deals that you're doing right now. Awesome. Excellent. That's so important to us. That's why we make sure each other knows each other's contacts. So I want to blow up the chat right now with what you're good at. Just type in the chat. What is your, and by the way, not a lot of things, just one thing. Everybody gets one thing, because a confused mind says no. If you got too many things, here's another keystone habit. When you meet somebody, know what your one thing is, right? When I was a real estate investor in Fall River, that was all I did. I would let everybody know I buy real estate in Fall River. Super freaking clear. Does that make sense? Even when I was an agent in Fall River, I would go to Boston. I would never be in my market. I'd be outside of my market selling my market. So I'd be in Boston and I would tell people that I am a real estate agent in Fall River. I only work with investors. Boom. I said everything that they wanted to hear. Does that make sense? Be very clear. When I was looking for a woman, or you guys, if you're looking for men, no big deal, right? This still works, I promise. When I was looking for a woman, I said this to any girl that talked to me: I am single and I'm looking to mingle. And it made it very clear to the person I was talking to that I was available. Does that make sense? What my intentions were. And I said, I'm looking for what I say, Dorina. I'm looking for the one. I know what she looks like. I know how she acts. And I know exactly what I'm looking for. And I said, I'm looking for the one. And anytime I said that to a girl who was not the one, I found out really quickly. Does that make sense? I'd be like, this is what she looks like. This is what she's doing in her life. This is where she's going. So clarity in your message, clarity in what you're looking to create for yourself, clarity in your vision for yourself, clarity in the people you want to be around. I started off life pretty early. I said, I only want to hang out with good people. I knew that. I said, I make good people good money. My first USP when I was in sales, when I became a real estate agent back in 2013, I make good people good money. I was unyielding in this decision. And anytime I came close to bending on that, I hated the client so much. And I don't think I ever made money from a client that I couldn't stand, except for, and by the way, there's a way to make money from people you don't like. When I would send referrals to somebody else, I get a grumpy client that I couldn't stand, I'd send them to a grumpy agent I couldn't stand, and I would get money. They like attracts like, they loved each other. They're like, oh, best client ever. Thank you so much. I was like, holy shit. You guys just understand each other. That's all that was, because I could not fathom how to spend any time with them. And that's part of what the mentorship was designed for, was to get around more good people, to get around the right people to build business with, to get around the right people to expand yourself, to be comfortable. I found, maybe you're like this, is that as I grew, as I became more successful, it was almost like my friends couldn't hang. My friends couldn't talk about the same things. I was doing stuff that was so different from what they were doing. I wasn't interested in partying or going out. I wasn't interested in sports. And I used to pretend to be interested in sports. Anybody ever pretend to sport before, where you're listening, they're like, yeah, Tom Brady, fucking get it, bro. Like, as I became more and more successful, I became more and more comfortable with, yeah, I don't fucking sport. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. God bless you. I'm glad the game went well for you. Did it go well? Did it not? Like, I don't know. And as I got more comfortable with that, it became more abrasive to the people I grew up with. And by the way, if you watch sports, I really, like, God bless you, right? Like, I genuinely mean that. I just, don't ask me about it. I won't know, because my sport is following Elon Musk. It's following Bezos. It's following what's successful. It's following you guys and gals. Like, I like knowing what you're doing more than I like to know what's on the TV, right? Because some of you are finding things out that I didn't know about. Some of you are sending me cryptocurrency. Some of you are sending me deals. Some of you are sending me strategies that you just tried or did or heard about from somebody else, tax strategies, right? So, and then sometimes your successes motivate me to go and teach somebody else. Thank you, by the way, for sharing all of your successes. I've gotten a lot this week and last week, just messages of things that are working out for you. I love that, right? It makes me excited about life. It makes me excited about what we're doing here. I know when I share it with the coaches, the success stories from each one of you, like, the coaches are like, man, like, I cannot believe this. This is what we do. Alchemist, right? Alchemist Nation. Let's keep growing. Let's keep building. So thank you. You're going to find that in this community, there's new friends. Who's made new friends just by hanging out with us? Just meeting new people. Yeah. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. One of the biggest complaints I had for myself for success was I didn't have good people to hang around with. Now I have a tribe. I have a choice, man. Every weekend, somebody is flying into Tampa. Like very few people in the community live here, but every weekend I've got an opportunity. Somebody seems to be flying in. And like, every weekend I'm introduced to somebody here in Tampa. And so I never have that lack of people anymore. So whatever you lack now, as soon as you let go of the lack and decide to serve, you're going to get an abundance of it. Another keystone habit: law of detachment. Let go. Don't force it so hard. And for the people in the mentorship, I want to give each one of you a round of applause for your success, your stories, thank you so much for the testimonials. It means a lot to me. For the real estate investors, and by the way, this is the other thing that I've noticed about the people who have joined one of our programs: you're taking action. The people who are putting in offers are the ones closing deals. I see it every day. The ones who are putting in offers, they're following this process to identify what a good deal looks like. Then they're going after it. And then they're putting in offers once they get there, lining up financing, getting things going. Like that's the keys, the keystone habits to success as a real estate investor. As you wrote these down, hands to the camera if you wrote these down, by the way. I didn't suggest to, but you did, right? Smart people take notes. Smart people with goals who want to take themselves seriously take notes on things. Unfortunately, we're recording these. We're having the descriptions written out and we're putting blogs out. So like you can review these later on. I actually just posted a blog yesterday for this principle from last year. And you can go on the website and at any point, check out one of the wealth principles, get a deeper review, get a deeper understanding of what the action steps were, what the principles were, and how you can implement them. And that is something that I'm committed to doing because I genuinely love seeing people succeed. Who knows that success for another person can feel good? Who's had kids, right? Who's had nieces, nephews, grandkids, and they like just like seeing those little people succeed. Well, it doesn't always have to be little people. Who's had a brother, a sibling, a spouse, and you see them succeed, and you're like, damn, like that makes you happy. Who's do we have any teachers in the room? Any teachers, trainers, speakers? Yeah, coaches. But you know how good it feels to see somebody who has trusted you with a serious topic, right? Success, finance. This is not like a small thing to talk about. This is big for people, right? This is emotional. There's all sorts of emotions around success. And somebody who trusts us with the ability to talk about that is huge to us. So when you succeed, it's like, oh, thank God. Like we don't feel any pressure on whether the advice was good. We feel pressure on whether we inspired you to do the advice was. Does that make sense? Like the principles, we know, we got the principles locked. It's we get emotional around like, will they do it though? Like, did I get it to the point where they can feel comfortable with doing it? Did I get over any objections they had about this next action step? Hands to the camp, that's like the hardest part for us. It's not whether we're telling you the right thing. Information is for free. Like go online, Google all this. It's the inspiration that gets somebody to go and take action. That is what people come to us, trust us for. That's the reason that the mentorship has a price ticket on the side. We go to sleep not knowing until we see that text that says, yeah, I did it. Right. And by the way, who wants the secret to happiness? Who'd like the secret to happiness? Yes. Are you sure? I gotta get all the hands to do this one. Secret to happiness. Okay. Write this down if you have a pen and paper. And if you don't, it's okay. You may remember it. I don't expect anything from anybody. I literally have no standards for your success. I know what I know is you're capable of. I have that in my head. I'm fully aware of it. But when I give you advice, I don't know that today's the day you're going to take action. I never put anything on it. I'm 100% emotionally detached. I say, look, if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. It's their problem. I've given them everything I could. In that moment, I cut off my emotions. I say, I gave them everything that I could, moving on. And so when you do something, you take action, I am genuinely fucking shocked. And it sends such a thrill through my body. I'm like, whoa, like, great job. Like, awesome. I can't believe you did it. You crushed it. It's absolutely amazing. Keeps me happy at all times. Does that make sense? Like, think about the people in your life. If you had no expectations of them, like you have your standards and you communicate your standards clearly, like don't ever let anybody walk over you, right? Never. You have your standards and you be willing to walk away from those people. But you have to have no expectations. If they fail, be like, okay, maybe I can communicate better. If they fail too many times, maybe I just remove them from my life entirely. Like this is clearly a failure. They don't want success, but not emotionally, right? Just whatever. Come and go. With students, if somebody comes and they're not taking action, I told you at the summit, right? I have $100,000 program where like if somebody doesn't take action in the first 3 months, I just give them their money back. I don't want to work with somebody who doesn't take action. You paid me that much and you're not doing the things I'm telling you, get out. Like I've got enough. I'm not here for just making money. I'm here for success stories. I'm here to be able to brag about the successes of somebody who I've helped. Does that make sense? That's the point, right? Like to do the job well and then find somebody bigger who can do the job even better, right? Just keep looking for, and I know some of you on the call are those people and like You notch up every time. I'm absolutely blessed. We're all blessed to have the honor to be in your presence. So if you're one of those people and you know it, let's clap for everybody else in the room. You know what I'm talking about? So nobody feels left out. If you're one of those people who knows they're taking it to the next level, hell yeah, I see you. I recognize you. Real recognizes real. And if you're not part of the community, you haven't jumped into one of our programs, you haven't jumped into the mentorship or into Alchemist Mastery, and you want to learn more about it, how it works, the conversation with Dorina is probably the most valuable 15 minutes. Do not waste her time. Most valuable 15 minutes that you will ever have in your life. Dorina is, she's super knowledgeable. She's successful. She is, she's loving, she's caring. She wants to see everybody be successful. Who's already had a conversation with Dorina and knows that she genuinely in that 15, 20 minutes, she cares about what you're doing and your success. Awesome. So if you want to learn more about the mentorship, schedule a call with Dorina. You can use your Calendly link. We're dropping it in the chat. And then Dorina, can you also drop it on Facebook? If somebody wants to get in, they want to know what it's like to be part of this tribe. Look at all these beautiful, successful faces on here who are killing it, who are crushing it, who are rocking the brand. Who's wearing the shirt today? Who's got one of the shirts on? Awesome. Hell yeah. We're on a mission to build 100 millionaires. Put our names on deeds. Mission of millions. Yes, the summit. This is the place to do it. And because each week we tie one of these wealth principles to something, a core habit of everybody in the mentorship program is to read a book a week. Hands to the camera if you're ready to read a book this week. If you know it's going down. Hell yeah. Michael Shine, the keeper of the books, the legend, the legendary speaker of the summit, the 100 Millionaire Summit this year, who brought out his holistic attorney presence, his closing ability. Mike, what is the book this week?
All right. Thank you, Walter. Let's see. Give me 1 second because I am having a little technical difficulty. So anyways, the book of the week is The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. It is an amazing book. Talks all about what Walter was talking about, Keystone Habits. And it talks about, I wrote it down, cues, routines, and rewards are a way to get you to that. But beyond that, I mean, I recommend the book. It's one of those books, if you've listened to me do these reviews before, I always like books with stories. And this book has some crazy stories. My favorite is about how Target saw that they figured out a way to find out that women were pregnant by what they were purchasing and were able to market to them. So it's just like sort of crazy stories about that. Procter & Gamble put out a product that you might know called Febreze, and they sent it all around the country, and it actually removed odors. Sounds amazing, right? Nobody liked it. And they realized that the reason is that the people who used it always, when they finished cleaning, wanted a clean smell. So when they were able to add the scent to it, which the product didn't even need the scent, but when they added it, suddenly the product exploded with sales. So it's just a really fun, it teaches you about habits, a good way to get yourself to do good habits. Like for me, when I was running a lot, I had my sneakers by the bed. So when I jumped out of bed, put the sneakers on, that was my Keystone habit, and I was out the door. So yeah, it's awesome in teaching lessons, but it's awesome also because it just has fun stories, and I love it. So yeah, Power Habit, great book. Recommend it. Thank you.
Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. The book of the week, and it is a book that everybody should read. Not gonna should all over you, but as a strong suggestion. So your success is up to you. Your success is something that you could attain today simply by making the decision, doing the research, going out and taking action. And then once the ideal opportunity is in front of you, seizing it. The way we manifest in this world is once something shows up in your mind, it is yours. The way you receive it is you take action, is you go and put that offer in, you go and do the research. So if you have seen it up here, you can achieve it. You've just got to move your body to that point. Open your mouth, speak to the right people, open the phone, text the right people, and then the deal is yours. The way this universe works, I'm going to say it again because it is so impactful. It is so real, is once you've seen it up here, it is already yours. The difference between the people who have what they see and the people who don't is the action step. That is how you receive. Just like you see the candy, you know you want it. It's not in your mouth tasting it until your hand reaches out and grabs it. Does that make sense? We grasp how this world works. This is not something holistic. This is not like, we manifest. It literally see it and then go do what it takes to get it. If the candy was on the top shelf, you might have to climb something. We get this. It's not always as easy as just grab the candy from the jar. But no matter what the goal, no matter what the skill, no matter what it is, there is always a principle to attaining of that skill. And you can do it. You can get there. Oh, I love this part. I'm telling you, we get to my favorite part. Coaches. Let's go around and speak to our coaches, identify what their major takeaway is for this wealth principle, starting with, I don't know if Ryan's on the call, if he's out there playing soccer with his kids.
He is not. He is in soccer for 2 more weeks, and then he will be returning until basketball starts the 3rd week.
Well, then, Dr. Terry, since you're speaking, you're up.
I like this topic because what we're really talking about is systems. And when we really understand that everything is a system, that when you really pay attention to the flow of how work goes and the flow of what you do, whether it's a mechanical system, whether it's a financial system, whether it's a human system, there's always a flow and a process to everything. And as long as you honor those systems, they're going to produce what you're looking for. The big problem is we think that everything is chaos because we create chaos as a system as well. And then we end up whacking moles, we end up putting out fires, and we end up running around in circles instead of being very efficient with what we're doing. When we focus on the system, when we focus on the routine or habit, and we make sure that we're doing it the same every time, we get better and better and better at it. And so I find that this is, like Walter said, a keystone principle with which every person can really up-level their game no matter where they're at. If they're in the beginning, if they're in the middle, or if they're at a place where they want to start looking at selling their company, or they're selling their investments, start to really pay attention to where you're not routine and build a routine into it.
I like that. Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause. That is a phenomenal way of looking at things. Who else? Dorina, are you able to speak? I know you're out in New York this week. It's been a lonely week in the house, although I've freaking loved it. I've been hanging out, reading books. Go ahead, Dorina.
Good morning. Yes, if you can hear me, then I can speak. Habits. Very powerful word, and I would say to get the habit going, and then we all know what good habits are and what not good habits are. Like, we're crystal clear on that. What's good, what's not good, and it's just a matter of dedication to forming the habit. If you can remind yourself every morning what habits you're about to accomplish or repeat or do it again, like maybe you have posters, like Brenda Shine gave me a bunch of little sticky notes in the kitchen to make sure I smile, make sure I watch my words, make sure I love myself, love everyone around me. It's a habit too, right? It's a reminder. So what else can you put something around yourself, around your house, around your community to remind yourself about good habit? And then once you push through forming the time forming the habit, you can actually forget about it, because they say habit, it's just a discipline at the beginning, and then it's just a way of life. So find something that can help you to form that good habit, because to identify the habit is pretty easy. Just to maintain it, that it becomes a part of your life, that's the work. So that's my takeaway. I know my good habits, and I plan to put reminders, vision boards, and something in the house that can help form it strongly, and that it will be just with us, and then we'll see results in compound effect later on.
Let's give Darina Pagodina a round of applause. What Darina's talking about with the vision is I told her something. Who'd like a little sneak peek into our relationship, how this whole thing works?
Do you have my permission too?
No. So when I told Darina, she said, what am I supposed to do this year? What should I aim at? What should I do? I told her two things. I was like, one, keep me focused, keep me happy. We know that if you do that, all the money comes through. We get all the vacations, we get all the people we want, we get whatever we want. Like, keep me focused, keep me happy. And she's like, okay, that seems really easy. I was like, well, we'll see. But she's like, how do I do it? I said, man, like, if you can get the house to have the vision of what we're looking to do this year, right? Like, who would like to know what our goal is this year? What the one thing is, such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary. 1,000 people in the summit. I get 1,000 people in the summit. That's 1,000 people signing the $1 million contract. That's 1,000 people. That's literally 10 times more than I did this year. And it brings me all the deals, brings me all the money, brings me the opportunities to invest in other people's businesses, gives me everything I'm looking for. Does that make sense? And then we charge tickets, so I'll make money from sales and things. So it makes all the sense for everything else that I do is to just do that one thing. Which, by the way, if you have a pulse and a desire to be a millionaire or a desire to give back and help other millionaires, I want to see you back at the event. I want to see you bringing 10 other people with you, because all we'd have to do is bring 10 people with us back to the event. Some of you may see that as a challenge. Some of you may see that as an opportunity. For everybody who takes it on, thank you so much. I bless each one of you. And I looked at it and I said, babe, all we got to do is this one thing, right? If we focus on this one thing, it's a high leverage point. Hands to the camera if you know your business has a thing like that. There is, for each one of you, there is a thing like that. And for many of you, it could be the 100 Millionaires Summit. Like, that literally could just get myself back into that room. Who made money at the summit? Who made partnerships? Who did deals? Yeah. How cool is that, huh? I got all these texts. Wow, I can't believe this. It was insane. Like, literally all week, it was just this guy that was there. And I know everybody, right? I knew every person that was there, and they didn't know each other. But at the summit, just the things that people would say when somebody got the microphone, suddenly now that there's a group around them, they want to know about that story. They want to know about that person, what they're doing. So the summit was so valuable to anybody who was willing to speak up, anybody who was willing to say something, and anybody who was listening. So there's a keystone habit in your business right now, and it may not be as hard or as much of a grind. Who's ever had the issue of motivation? Ever had the issue of motivation? When you're doing something that you absolutely love and are excited about, the motivation is no big deal. You just wake up and you just go do. There is something I do want to talk about coming up. I know this is the coach's time. I'm coming back to you guys. Don't you worry. There is a crypto call that Mitch is doing. It's part of Alchemist Mastery. So if you already paid for Mastery at the summit, awesome. Congratulations. You get this call for free. If you didn't get a chance to join Alchemist Mastery and you want to just buy it as a one-off, just a la carte is what they say in the restaurant business, you can actually still buy into this event. It is the 15th, right, Mitch? And on the 15th, Mitch is going to be going into why crypto in a deeper format, how to understand this thing, what's coming, what the challenges are, what the opportunities are. And if you don't know, every real estate investor that I know is invested in crypto. All the players anyway, the guys who've been playing, the guys who've had assets, who have extra cash sitting, they're all in crypto. They're all making money, and they're all very happy about it. And that's something to be aware of. You're a real estate investor. You need to understand how crypto technology works, how the currencies are working, how to invest in it, what to do and what not to do. And Mitch is going to be doing a series of trainings, but this one is Keystone. Be there or be square. He actually dropped it in the chat. So Mitch, before I mess up on the description of this thing, what is your take on Keystone Habit?
I'm sorry. The Mike Shine mug is distracting me. I'm too busy trading crypto. Mike, you got to stop giving me stuff like this. Keystone.
Be careful what you put into the universe, Mitch. Mike, continue to.
Yes, Mike, keep giving me all the gifts. Bring
my
me all the
brother from
gifts.
a-
They're all
that's my
wonderful.
brother-
I have the
My
water
brother
bottle, the
from
mug.
another mother. My brother. from
Exactly.
another
Mike
mother.
does nothing but give gifts that bring value to your life.
There you
Nice.
go. And he's the tall one. I don't know where Mitch got all these genes, Mike, but I didn't get the hair. You got the hair. Mitch got
It's like
the
the
hair.
movie
and you got the height.
Twins.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I digress. Forgive my raspy voice. This is the power of networking. I was at last night, my buddy's 40th birthday party, a real estate investor buddy I met 5 years ago at a networking event, and we started to meet up together. So everything Walter's saying about the networking and, you know, all the partnerships that happened at the summit, true story. So if you weren't there, sorry, not sorry. Like, get it right next year. Yeah. So as far as crypto, though, I mean, you know, Keystone Habit, I think really it's just, you know, with real estate, we did the same things. Like, you got to understand the fundamentals. How do I analyze a deal? Right. So I think just knowing that with crypto is kind of like that keystone principle. It's just like, all right, how do I look at a cryptocurrency and know A, it's not a scam. B, it's something that, you know, has a use case, like it has some type of catalyst behind why it will grow, just like you would with any other kind of business investment. You know, what's so I think those two principles is really what you want to focus on when it comes to crypto. Don't get me wrong, there's 1,000 more things, but just those two things alone, I think, lets you invest in crypto with some confidence and get exposure to it, because we're at the point now where, in my opinion, not financial advice, everyone should have a piece of their overall investment portfolio in cryptocurrency. And even if it's just the speculative portion, just like you might do with like some high flying tech stocks, well, instead, maybe replace some of those with some crypto. But again, have those one or two basic principles so you at least know what you're looking at. And that's, you know, a lot of what we're going to get into on the workshop, along with, you know, why, like, you know, Walter said, why crypto, you know, because why do I want to invest in this anyway? What's the motivating factor? How do I know it's a investment that has some potential? So, and those reasons are a layup. So please ask me that question at the workshop. Like, bring it. I'm excited to answer that. So November 15th, 6 p.m. All the Alchemist Mastery folks, can't wait to see you there. And if you're not part of that program, then you got to buy your way in.
Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. Yes, we gave an amazing deal at the event. So if you're looking for that deal and you haven't already had a conversation with Darina or one of the coaches, I apologize. When I said we will only sell at that price one time ever, I meant it. Hence the camp, if you know, I do what I say what I mean, I say what I do. Like, I don't fuck around when it comes to price of things. I don't mess around when I set up a contract with somebody. So next year will be a little bit more, but we will probably offer a discount at the summit from the normal price. But if you want things this year, by the way, speed to action, I got a whole new brand coming out. It's called FAST. Who wants to know what FAST stands for? Awesome. So FAST stands for focus, action. The S, oh, hold on. I can't remember what the S stood for. I got it sitting right here.
No.
Yeah. No, it's still new to me. The S stood for speed. Obviously, I'm always talking about speed, fast and speed, and tribe. It takes the people around you to get to where you want to go. If you want to move fast, you've got to know speed is the point. Anybody who says success, life is not a race, they're lying to you. They are lying to you. Because if you make $1 million over 40 years, guess what that makes you? Broke. That's minimum wage. And if you make success like $1 million over 20 years, that makes you average. That's a $40,000, $50,000 wage. If you make $1 million over 10 years, that makes you a high income earner, unless you're in California, that makes you average. And if you make $1 million over 5 years, that makes you an extremely high income earner. If you make $1 million over 2 years, it puts you in the 1%. And if you make $1 million in 1 year, that puts you in a fraction of the 1%. We get how this works, right? So, speed is the only thing that changed. Speed to action means greater levels of success, greater levels of life. So speed is important. So anybody says it's not a race, they don't actually know how the game is played. It is about speed to action. So you got to move fast with focus, with action, with speed, and with tribe. I'm still working on memorizing this thing, but I love it. I love the acronym. So we've got something coming up It's called Master of Influence. Who knows the new currency is attention? Who knows that if I make a post online right now, money flows into my account? That's how it works. So when I make a post about an event, if I make a post about me looking for a deal, I got to be careful with these, right? Anything I type on Facebook or on Instagram, if I post it, suddenly my inbox is flooded with whatever I was looking for. Who knows? That's how you manifest on hyperspeed, hyperdrive. All right. So attention is the new currency. And if you want more attention, you need to learn influence. You need to learn how to influence others. So we've got an event coming up that if you're in mastery, you already know about it. You're already involved. And if you don't know about it, we're still selling a la carte. We are adding an extra 10 spots to the room. By the way, there is that limit for a logical reason. The rooms cost us money to book, and we're not going to book anything beyond what this event takes a certain size, right? If we have more than 40 in the room, we already have 30 registered. If we have more than 40 people in the room, then it won't be as effective. This is Master of Influence. It's very much engaging where you're working with other people. Hence, if you understand that it kind of has to be done in a small fashion. Excellent. Very intimate. So Master of Influence is taught by Doug McGurk. He is the king of influence, knows how to speak, knows how to talk, knows how to get words out so that people listen and then do the implied action. We call it positive persuasion. Positive persuasion. We do require that anybody who does register for Masters of Influence is ethical, moral, and does things legally. Because as you can imagine, these tools of influence are very dangerous in the wrong hands. Hands to camera if you recognize that that's the truth. We got to be very careful to people who learn this stuff. I will also be at the event and I will be talking about social influence, social media, how to get others to like, how to get others to share, how to get others to post, how to get people following you so that when you do say or do something, you get an immediate reaction. How to build community. Hands to camera if you recognize that this tribe around us is pretty damn powerful. It's pretty amazing people right now on the call. Absolutely. There's a level of skill that comes to influencing at this level, and it is learnable. Thank God it is learnable. Thank God all of this is learnable. You can get to the next level because you can just show up and be around the right people. Focus on what you want. Surround yourself with what you want, and you will eventually become what you wanted. Doug McGurk, what is your take on the three or the key principles? Not these three, just whatever you want to discuss on key principles.
Thank you. So, obviously, tons of brilliance here. There's so much to unpack in all this, and everyone hit on amazing stuff. One of the things we also want to start backing into is the little habits. Those little habits or rituals or routines. We all have different language around them, and that in it of itself is a habit. So we want to look at, or a ritual routine, we want to look at what are we even thinking, the little thoughts that are to quote, Terry, your own bad advice. Sometimes your own bad advice is this habitual thought, this little voice inside your head that seems innocuous, that actually wants what's best for you, and you know that. So then you start having this challenge around what we habitually focus on. What is the language we habitually use? Walter, just talked earlier about should and then need and can't and try and all of those little things that pass us by. And we also need to remember that nature abhors a vacuum. So to Darina's point, once we identify it, well, just removing it or addressing it is not enough, because we need to, and yes, we do need to replace it consciously with a routine or habit that is supportive. Like, as an example, we all know people who have quit smoking and then they gain 20 or 30 pounds. Why? Because they replaced that pattern of smoking. They fulfilled the need that smoking was fulfilling with a non-resourceful pattern, such as eating Oreos, sucking on lollipops, whatever that may be. So when it comes to catching it, we want to run that pattern ritualistically, catch ourselves sooner, in that process, and then future pace and you know, to what Terry's point is about those systems, is what system do I need to put into place that is going to support my achieving of my desired outcome. And again, it's sometimes those little things that make the biggest difference. So we just want to be aware of that. And that's what influence is. Here's the other thing, and this is where we'll get into it at Masters of Influence, is influencing those little things, building the relationship, and then moving the momentum, helping people take action, create movement and momentum. And sometimes it's just that little shift, and then the next one, and then the next one. And that's how you and I have ever experienced. How many have ever experienced, like, you end of a conversation and you're like, how did that just happen? How did they just get me to you know, take that action or do that? And it's because it was just conversational, little steps. It wasn't forcing you. It wasn't steamrolling you. It was just shifts in conversation with your, and this is where Walter talked about moral, ethically, and legally, that the other thing we're going to be focused on is being sure this is where intentions do matter, that we are genuinely and authentically wanting what's best for the client, that it's a win-win-win-win, so we can, with certainty, with confidence, take on whatever objections and resistance and help them achieve their desired outcome. And that's all I have to say about that.
Let's give Doug McGurk a round of applause. Who's excited for Master of Influence? I know I am. This is a course that people have asked for. We don't go out and just throw out random courses. We have better things to do. We create trainings based on desire and goals. What people are saying they want in their lives, we'll go and build a training around that. Hands to camp, you know, that's how you should build your business, right? If your clients are over and over and over coming to you saying, hey, this is an issue, like motivated sellers are constantly saying that they don't have cash. Motivated sellers are constantly saying that they want to be in a different place, or that the roof doesn't work, or they're tired of being in the house, or that there's right 5 Ds: death, divorce, denial, drugs, or disease. You go through any one of those 5, you keep hearing them solve those problems. If you can solve those problems for a bigger niche, we talk about writing books. Jen is on the call right now. She's a ghostwriter. Imagine being the authority on dealing with denial in the family, or dealing with disease in the family, or dealing with a death in the family, dealing with divorce. If you wrote a book on it, which, by the way, with the help of any one of our coaches, you could easily write a book on any one of these topics, then you hand that to a seller who's going through that problem, or you even just target people who are going through that problem just to help them out. But in the book, the last 3 chapters talk about maybe you have to get rid of some of your assets to move on, to move forward. What would that look like? Hey, we built a company around buying houses. I'm a real estate investor. Maybe I can help you out if you needed to. This is NLP through the book. Does that make sense? And if you ever worked with Jen, you understand that I put NLP into the books, into the chapters. I do that to move a person along towards the path that you're looking for. Nobody writes a book to sell a book. You don't make money off of selling the books, I assure you. You make money because the book leads you to the point, right? This book, Broke to $250,000, leads you to the point is not to work, it's to generate income. That's the whole intention behind this book, is to open people's minds. Very much like Rich Dad, Poor Dad does, except his book's 3 times the size and intimidating. Whereas I made mine just the right size where somebody will definitely read it. And for the amount of people I've handed it to, and the amount of people I've handed Rich Dad, Poor Dad to, my book gets read more often because it's easier, it's smaller, it's simpler. Does that make sense? So Master of Influence is a thing that teaches you how to get to that next level. It is, I say, about a year, right? Doug, it's got to be over a year that people have been asking for us to teach them NLP, asking to learn how to influence, asking how to understand this hypnosis thing, and how to do the social media. And for everybody who has been asking me, especially after the summit, I've been getting a lot of requests to learn social media. I will be talking about it at this event. I will go into deep detail, how to master in hacking, like just getting attention, just how to get more followers. In fact, watch my journey. Who's watched my follower count on Facebook over the last 4 weeks? Has anybody noticed it? All right, Dorina knows. It has gone from 1,500 followers when I started on September 25th, to today, it is November 6th. I hit 4,000 last night. I watched it hit 4,000. I was up. I was texting Dorina. She was in New York. So we were texting. I was like, babe, I'm 3 away. 3 away. We were about to hit 4,000. This is nuts. It's insane. There are ways, TikTok, right? Mitch, I was able to get Mitch inspired to get going. Mitch, I know I checked last night. You're 7 away from 1,000. You got to be
passed
there.
it this morning. I passed it.
Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. 1,000 followers on a platform he's only been on for what, 2 months, Mitch?
Listen. Yeah, it's been like 3 months. Yeah.
3 months.
I gave the people what they wanted. They wanted Shiba Inu posts.
All it takes is do the right things and you will get the success you're looking for. It is very, very simple. And you can do that on any platform in any aspect of life. So, Doug, I'm looking forward to sharing the stage with you on this one. It's going to be epic. Michael Shine, if you can give us your piece of advice on the Keystone Habits.
Yeah, thanks, Walter. Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm so grateful for this community because we're, first of all, Walter, you're amazing. And actually, why don't we give Walter a round of applause? He's always asking, but he's just a rock star. And I really feel that way. But what you get, I'm not trying to sell anything here, but what you get with this community is you get a whole bunch of other coaches that just drop amazing knowledge every time. Like when Terry starts talking, or Doug, or Dorina, or Mitch, or any of the coaches, it's just so valuable that I haven't been in other groups as many as Walter has been, but I just feel so blessed that we have so many. Christine too. Hi, Christine. It's just very, very valuable. And it's more than just Walter, and Walter is a ton all by himself. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is that I love this idea of Keystone Habits because we said how many people are real estate investors, and a keystone is kind of a construction piece. It's when you build like a bridge, you build the rocks from one side, and then you build the rocks from the other side, and then the keystone is the one stone that is driven right in the middle that holds the whole bridge up. And it's just always blown my mind from an engineering standpoint that this stone holds up the rest of it. And so that's just an amazing concept. So when you think about it as habits, that's huge, especially what Walter was talking about, that businesses have habits. Like we think of like habits like brush your teeth and things like that, but your business has habits. And obviously I would defer to Terry and Christine and Generator Coaching on this one, but that's really what I got out of it. But then I was thinking about this because this is so crazy. Every time you talk about something, Walter, I've been thinking about it this morning. And what I was thinking was that a keystone habit is really another side of something we call the one thing. And it's the one thing that makes everything simpler, easier, or unnecessary to do. So for me, it's kind of like, I have so many things going on. I see myself simplifying, and that's where the keystone habit is. You get that one habit and all other habits follow from that habit. And so this is just an awesome subject, and I love it. And that's what I got out of today. Thank you.
Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. Very valuable. Christine McGinley, you're up. Bring us your Keystone Habit suggestion or advice or opinion on these.
Yeah, I think habits or routines or rituals are really important to us as individuals, whether it's health, whether it's financial, or whether it's what you do daily in your business. And I know talking with a bunch of clients and working with teams myself, it's like, okay, how do we install habits, routines for ourselves so we can model for others, our kids, our team, our partners? Like how we show up, it builds just off on last week's wealth principle of like how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I think really going back to the fundamentals of how you start your day, to how you reflect on your day, to how you check in with yourself, are all like those little keystone habits of checking in, how can I do this better, but rejoicing in the things that we did do well. And that goes right to the team as well. It's like when you see your team do something awesome, highlight that, rejoice in it, celebrate it. Don't overdo it so they don't think it's genuine, but really move them forward to what their strengths are, because not everybody is going to be strong in everything. And finding the team members that help supplement those areas where others aren't as strong, or how to inspire them to have that influence that we've been talking about to get that person to the next level so they are stronger players, because that's what everyone wants to be, is someone that's contributing and moving the team forward to reach the mission, the goal, the vision. And so that's what I want you guys to think about, is how are you showing up and how that's influenced your team, your family, your environment, so they can move forward.
Let's give Christine a round of applause. Powerful week, powerful lesson. Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to open it up to questions from the community. Anybody who is busy, got things to do, go ahead, knock yourselves out. You can jump off the call, rock it. But if you have questions or want to stick around for some of the Q&A, feel free. This is your chance to unmute the mic and fire off some questions. And we can bring in some of the people who are sitting in the room out there. We can bring them in for questions as well. So go ahead, unmute the mic. And Lewis Clark, I see you've got a question. I see your hand is up. Go ahead. What is your question? And since they're not speaking, somebody else,
I'll
go
go.
ahead.
Can I go up?
Go ahead, Anton. Hell yeah.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Question is, when you were talking about you give someone the information and then you just let them go and do their thing or not, and you don't set any expectation in terms of whether or not they're going to do it, does that not get harder if it's someone that you really, really care about? So for someone that's really close to you and you know how you're like really emotionally invested in them actually doing it and succeeding. I have, a few close friends that I would really love for them to kind of get out of their own way, if you will. And for some reason, they're just not taking action. And it's frustrating for me because I care a lot. So how do you like train yourself to not get frustrated, I guess?
This comes with, I don't know if it's time or life or maturity or what it is, but at some point you just have to decide what is best for your family, what's best for you, like the immediate family, the ones you have control over. And if attempting to support people who are not looking to get ahead, who are not looking to go to where you're looking to go, is going to hurt or hold back your mission, then let them go. But if you can build your mission in such a way and build your life in such a way that there's always a ladder left behind for anybody who wants to climb, I think that's the best way to do it. I wanted my family so bad, Anton, my family and my friends so bad to come through and start learning the stuff that I was teaching. And years went by, years of me just pushing and grinding and mentioning to them. And not a single person ever asked me a single question. It wasn't until I started the mentorship and I started offering the service to other people that I actually brought my cousin through. I brought both my brothers through. And it wasn't until I was like selling it and offering it to other people that my family actually came through and ended up taking the mentorship and it started to take action. My brother bought $1.5 million deal for $1 million. So Anton, like, just leave the rope back there, but don't wait for him. Right.
Yeah. Well, sense? Yeah, it does. And I've heard that story, and if I can follow up. So yeah. So what about family then? What if it is someone that's actually close to you? How was that for you going for years without them trying to grab the rope or climb the ladder? And then, what, like, they could have gotten the education for free, but then all of a sudden you have like a mastermind that people pay money for, and then that's when they decide that, oh well, maybe we should start listening to him now. I mean, you're the same guy You know what I mean? It's crazy, right? I mean, even family doesn't listen to you when you give it to them for free, but then once you start charging money, it's like all of a sudden, you know, it's something valuable.
This is why we don't coach for free anymore. It doesn't make sense. They don't pay attention if they don't pay. Mitch, I know you got the answer for this one. Go ahead, brother.
No, I mean, I'm gonna say a lot of similar things, but along with that, I mean, you schooled me on that because you know me, I love like literally giving away everything and over delivering. And you're like, dude, the reason you're getting no traction is because you're giving everything away. There's no value to it. But, you know, to touch on a lot of what Anton's talking about, those struggles, I've gone through that too. Like you want to literally grab this person, just shake them. I'm like, why do you not like, come on? Like I'm trying to help you. Help me to help you, right? Like Jerry Maguire. But in the end, I mean, to use a bunch of cliches, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, you know, and like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it, you know, you can't make it drink. Like all those things are true. And that is your answer. Like there's no specific answer. Like it makes all the sense in the world to you. And you're like, why are you not? But you can only control what, you know, your life and what you control, right? Like that person has to make that decision. And why does it work like that? Who knows? Mysteries of the universe. But yes, like you said, once you're established, you have this credibility and you're charging for something, then a family member might look at you and be like, holy crap. All right. Like, yeah, dude, like teach me this. And you get frustrated because you're like, I was trying to teach you 5 years ago. Right. Let it go, because it goes back to they weren't ready. They weren't ready for it. They weren't ready for it. You know, like case in point, you know, you use Walter as an example. He wasn't ready for Dorina 5 years ago. He was ready about a year or two ago. Right. So you just, when the person's ready. So don't force it. All you can do is just do your thing, lead by example, throw the seeds out there, and eventually they're going to jump on board or they're not, you know what I mean? And I always say like, help those that are willing to help themselves. So you wait for that moment. And when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
It's awesome. Awesome advice, Mitch. Mike, go ahead. I see you, brother. And Doug said something in the chat. He said, love your family and choose your peers. It was powerful.
Yeah. I also look at myself and things that I did not adopt when people told me them the first time. Like, for example, I'm vegan, and I was told about being vegan a year before I went vegan by a friend of mine. And I just sort of dismissed it as, oh yeah, that's some crazy shit. and so it's just like Mitch said, when you're ready, you know, so maybe when your family members are ready, then they'll jump on the train. But yeah, so we only do things when we're ready. I knew about real estate 30 years ago, and I didn't do that either. So jump on when you're ready.
Let's give Mike Shine, Mitch Jorski a round of applause. Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, just real quickly, and I see a couple other hands up. I don't know if they were adding our questions. The other thing, Heidi and I have a no coaching policy within our relationship. So essentially, the way we use that is we don't offer coaching unless it's asked for, because it starts creating stress when the. And you could just say, to anyone who's having a challenge with the family member or friend or whatever, say, look, just to let you know, I'd be happy to share with you everything that I'm doing and get you on board. I'm not going to pressure you. I'm not going to offer anymore. I just want to let you know that anytime that you have a question, I'm here. And then drop it, so that they can then just see your success and then ask you. And then when they ask, now they're opening the door. I think oftentimes we are very loving and we want people to do well, and we see the challenge. We see what's going on. We're like, oh my gosh, I've been there, and I know how to change it all for you right now. I know if I were in your shoes, this is what I would do. And when we say that, sometimes that breaks rapport. There's a problem. You know, it's what we're seeing now in even, almost any position, that if you don't agree with their position, they shut us down because they've got a different one and you must be wrong. So we just want to be an exemplar of possibility by being successful, by creating all these amazing opportunities, and then create an open space for people to ask. And that's where you love your family and then choose the people we hang out with, choose the environment that holds us to a higher standard.
Let's give Doug McGurk a round of applause.
Thank you,
Anton,
Coach.
it's a phenomenal question. I gotta throw my little piece on this. It's like, emotionally, just let go. 100% be like okay with you becoming successful, because part of the reason you want to go help is because you feel guilty for your success. And don't worry about it. Like, they're perfectly fine with their lives. If they wanted more, they would be doing the same thing you're doing. And that goes for everybody. Does that make sense? All right. Like, and maybe this is just me and my travel, but as I became more and more successful, and as like I was doubling my income every year, like I was blowing past the people I had admired and grown up with. And I remember I couldn't even talk about money around my family. Like, I'd be like a mouse, because I got so uncomfortable with listening to my uncles say they were making 60,000, and like they were bragging. They were like, yo, I'm making 60,000 this year. I got a company car. And me being like, oh man, like I just blew past 120, right? Like, and then next year they got a 5% raise and they're talking about it. I'm like, dude, I just made $250,000. Like, I'm not even, I'm making more than everybody in this circle right now. Like, in this conversation, I out earned everybody. Like, it became such a chip on my shoulder that I had a hard time even talking about money around my family. So just, I would say, emotionally disconnect from it entirely. It's your thing. It's your thing, right? Like, if your cousins, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle are like swimming really well, like I don't get jealous of my brother and his ability to flip. Who saw him flip on stage at the event? You think that was a flip? You should see what this kid can do. That's his basic, right? That's what he does in front of people who've never seen him do stuff before. But like what he can move his body in just the most amazing, crazy ways, jump higher than I've ever seen anybody jump, like jump distances. Like, I've seen him jump from building to building, like crazy stuff. And I would never, I don't even care. I'm like, cool, like, God bless you. I don't even want that skill. So just think, like, your family could be like that. And that's like, okay, that you're learning this money skill and they have no desire to learn it. They're fine with the way they've been, right? I'm okay with walking the way I've always walked. My brother has to walk with style. God bless him. Go ahead, Mike.
Just quickly, I wanted to add that, as many of you know, I have 5 kids. And what I've learned is that a lot of what I tell them, they don't listen to. They just don't listen to it. And I grew up watching TV, and I thought, you talk to your kids just like they do on TV, and then they say, thanks, Dad, I really appreciate that lesson. That is not what happens with kids. But what I found is that they listen. They watch you and they follow what you do. So just keep creating the example. And at some point, it's so gratifying when that person, Anton, when they suddenly take something that you're doing. So it's not always about talking to people. It's sometimes just setting an example. Yeah.
Awesome. I see 2 hands up. We got Jackson and Kevin Pereira. Go. Whoever unmutes first goes first. There you go, Kevin. Almost speed to action.
Yeah, right. All gas, right? No break. So Darina brought it up today, right? It's obvious that we all know the difference between good habits and bad habits, right? So now, right, with making these changes, you start to implement and develop good habits, especially with the surroundings and the communities that we have, But again, I'm just trying to go a little deeper, like in almost like getting specific. So maybe even trying to reverse engineer or setting myself an attainable, a number to meet, right? That month, here I am, right? But are there any other, do you try to separate yourself or try to accomplish certain little habits for good and bad habits? Are they both different types of little wins for bad habits and good habits, or are they kind of coincide with one another?
I look at them both separately. Sometimes one habit will actually eliminate another habit entirely. Sometimes you could just change what you're doing during a certain time or a trigger, and you switch it with a different strategy, a different anchor or something. But then others are completely separate. So sometimes you evaluate all your negative habits, say, okay, these are bad. What could I replace them with is the effective strategy, because you're going to need a habit for that moment in time every time you come to that trigger or that anchor. So replacement is, you can either replace or you can just desire to put a new habit in place. But either way, some other habit will be suffering from any changes in an existing habit. And Kevin, it, like, knowing how active you are and what you're doing, there's a powerful keystone habit that I could have talked about. Maybe I should have talked about that. I know your situation in life, and this probably is same for everybody since I still work with it myself, is faith, like gratitude for having already accomplished the task that you're setting yourself out to accomplishing. Having the gratitude, having that, just knowing that it's already yours. And because you are an action taker, you are a clear vision of what you want. And the step that is in between that is the level of gratitude and faith you have that you're capable of it, that you earned it, that you deserve it, that it's yours, that it's already in existence. Once you come to a clear space in your head with that, results happen, like instantaneously, almost immediately. So you're right there. And that one habit of taking time for gratitude and feeling blessed for having already accomplished what you said you would, and with eliminating the imposter syndrome that we all suffer, eliminating any kind of false beliefs or what, well, it has to be this certain way, just letting go of how it gets done and being 100% accepting that it is done already. That part of like not believing reality that you see, but believing reality that you see up here. That's the keystone habit that I would add to everybody, you know. But Kevin, because I know where you're at and where I was at, that's yours, man. That's your game. That's your play. Jackson, go ahead. Let's give Kevin Farrow a round of applause. He's crushing it. He is absolutely crushing it. You want to talk activity. You want to talk about speed. You want to talk about let's go. Like that, this guy is the embodiment of it. So he's right there. He's right there. Jackson, go ahead, brother.
Thank you. Everybody, was a really good 52 Wealth Whisper week, and I've really learned a lot. I wanted to thank everybody for it. The reason I have right now is the floor is I have a couple questions for everybody else. Who was at the 100 Millionaire Summit? All right, I see a couple. Now, who wish they were at the 100 Millionaire Summit? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
I saw the action takers in the call. Everybody was there.
Well, I'm pretty sure you had some family members or some friends that would probably benefit on being there if they had the chance to be there. So why don't we just go out straight for this and say, what happens if I say that you could have a audio version of the event playing when you're, walking, sitting with your family members, having the chill time, hey, why don't you listen to this? Or have them read a little transcript or something like that. Well, let's say that somebody was able to provide you that. Would anybody find value in that? No? Yeah. Okay.
We're getting better, Jackson. We're getting better. I like the way you went through the pitch. The only thing I'll say that hurt here is like, who knows that their family's probably not interested. Hence the camera, if you got family friends, is like, so tough sell, right? That particular element is a tough sell. But in this room, these guys are interested in just for themselves, because they know that as they develop themselves, they'll be able to help others, just through osmosis. Just once you have it in your head, it's hard not to say it. So Jackson, what is the easiest way to get in touch with you to get access to the transcription? Because my video team is working hard on finishing up Get the Deal. Get the Deal should be done. I got the confirmation we should be done around the end of November, end of this month. I'll be editing and making sure everything's right. So we're almost done with that one. And then the summit, we're talking maybe January, right? To get the videos and everything out. So the audio being done right now is really cool. Jackson, I'm absolutely impressed that you did it. I'm absolutely impressed that you got it. And the transcription's being done already. That's really cool, because we're like a month away. So let's give Jackson a round of applause. Jackson, drop in the chat. What's the easiest way to get in touch with you if somebody's looking for access to it?
Well, they can call me. You could either text me or email me. I'm going to drop my email in the text, the chat. So make sure you keep an eye on that. But my number is 904-568-7919. I'll say that again, 904-568-7919. Just give me a simple text saying, hey, I'll get you down. I'll write you down. I'll send it to you as soon as it's finalized and complete. It should be done by this afternoon. So you guys be ready.
I love it, man. I appreciate you, Jackson. Let's give Jackson a round of applause. It's a big asset to the community. Yeah, it's not that I don't have the audio. It's just that the audio file is so freaking big, and I'm not going to go chop it up and for just one thing. Like, our guys are building a manual. Our guys are doing the video. So the fact that Jackson has this done already, to me, I'm like, yes, absolutely. Get this out to people. If there are scripts that you heard, like the session that Doug did, I think is a huge, valuable session to listen to again. Terry put out a good session. Ryan McDermott, every one of the sessions, depends on what you're looking for. Every one of the sessions that was out there, I was a huge fan of mine on commitment and goal setting. So, I mean, I'm a huge fan of everything I said. I wouldn't have put them in the event, right? But I would strongly suggest that if it's something you seek value in, then yeah, get it for sure. And then coming soon, we've got our pimped out online version of the summit. Man, I'm excited. Like, I know I'm not supposed to do editing videos, but I have every intention of this weekend going in and editing some videos and making another clip. Who's already seen the clip I threw out on Facebook? Who's already seen this is like me walking out on stage, right? I've got 3 terabytes of stuff I can go through. I may play around with my brothers because I thought that was really cool. So I may like go and find some of his stuff. What other questions do we have? Questions before we jump off? Actually, I got to jump off because I'm meeting up with some investors here locally in Tampa. And if there are no questions or you can't think of anything right now, just shoot us a message. Shoot any one of the coaches a message. We're glad to answer the stuff that you guys got. We love you. We love supporting you. We love seeing your success. Let's give all the coaches a round of applause for showing up. I know, and I know especially Doug has been doing a lot of speaking lately. He's been doing a lot of coaching, high-level coaching lately. So his time is extremely valuable. So I wanted to say thank you so much, Doug, for the time that you put in here. I don't think anybody understands just how busy Doug and his wife are, like what they've accomplished in the speaker world, what they've accomplished in the training world. And to have Doug show up every week is just, like, it's the most insane amount of dedication. I really don't know that this community understands just how valuable his time is and what he does and what his life looks like. So I really just want to send a lot of blessings, a lot of thanks to Doug right now. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing, brother.
I appreciate you all. Thank you, Walter.
Of course, I appreciate it, man. I told you, like, I have very low very low expectations. So when I see something as fantastic as you showing up every week, I gotta say it. I appreciate it, man. It blows my mind.
Well, I'm able to as well because Heidi takes care of quite a bit on Saturday mornings. Like, and we're as soon as we're done here, I gotta go get some birthday presents and all that good stuff. We have 2 parties today as well. We have a personal
and you just
life.
Picked up a Tesla, so now you and Mike are Tesla twins, Tesla kings.
Yeah. Hopefully next week, the Thursday, the charger comes. I just figured out how to register my car because apparently when I bought it, there was still supercharge time left on it. So I used it all up yesterday. I was like, oh, this is awesome. It's free. And then it was like, okay, this car is no more supercharging. And then I was like, I went in and I registered the car, so I'm good again.
Back in the game for the superchargers. So ladies and gentlemen, you have a powerful week ahead. Mitch just dropped into the chat. Mitch, I think I dropped it on the Facebook Live as well. Dropped into the chat the link to the crypto call, the crypto event that's coming up. This is a once a year thing. Mitch will not be doing this again. If he does, I will be absolutely blown away by that. And blessed, feeling thankful and blessed. But we are thinking a much larger crypto summit sometime middle of next year. But again, man, like Mitch said, he's like, put me first, like be the first workshop because people need crypto now. They need it yesterday. Me and Mike and Mitch have all been making money in crypto. All the coaches, everybody who's invested in crypto have been making money from our investments. So get in as soon as you possibly can with knowledge, not speculation. I say it so carefully, like, please do not invest if you do not understand, right? Please do not invest in things you don't get or grasp, but learn from Mitch, understand it, and make intelligent investment decisions. Just know that there are opportunities every day that are passing by that people are missing out on. So if you are wondering where's the next money-making opportunity, they're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. And it takes intelligent investing to be successful in that. Sans if you commit to invest intelligently, get the knowledge, get the information. All right. Excellent. That's all I ask. No willy-nilly, I bought Shiba coin today. All right. If I get one of those texts, you're getting a virtual smack. Awesome. I love each one of you guys. I got to jump off. Text me with any questions. I will see you on the next call. Cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with the best.
Work with the best.
Have a powerful week. Go take some action and do a Facebook Live. If you're afraid of Facebook Live, do a Facebook Live. If you're confident with Facebook Live, do a Facebook Live. If you've never done a Facebook Live, do a Facebook Live. Talk about this wealth principle or one of the Keystone Habits or one of the commitments you're making, because accountability, letting other people know, is going to force you to do it. And like we were talking about with Anton, this could be that line, that ladder that you're putting out to your friends and family that brings them into your world. So definitely go and take the time to do a Facebook Live. And yes, let's give Solomon a round of applause. That is one of my favorite backgrounds. I love that mural on the wall. Absolutely. That's just one way to do it. Just one way to do it, guys. It's very easy to make $1 million. Cheers to your success. I'll see you on the next call.